If you're ready for the pump fund launch and you don't want to go from this to this, I suggest you listen up. I've been trading crypto now for over 5 years, over 2 cycles, specifically in the degenerate areas. So I'm very used to these ICOs, and I also understand a lot about meme coins. So I'm going to merge the two, and we're going to prepare on what we are going to do and how we're going to approach the pump fund launch. My name's Tyra. If you're new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm currently in sunny Thailand, right? So I have this little lens on my camera if you see me changing it. But let's get into how we're going to prepare for this mass extraction event, what some people might say, or what about if it's a massive opportunity? So if you haven't heard already, Pump Fund is going to be launching a token. Now, you can see they actually tweeted here. They said, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Pump Fund is going to be launching a initial coin offering, an ICO. You know how long it's been since we've seen an ICO? Right? This has been a cycle of meme coins, not ICOs. Right? And they're going to be doing this on July the 12th. So mark your calendars. Mark your calendars for this date. And the airdrop is actually coming soon. So this is a big misconception. People think that the Pump Fund launch is going to be the actual airdrop. And that's simply not true. The Pump Fund airdrop is coming soon, but this is actually going to be the launch of the token. Now, they also said, our plan is to kill Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch on Solana. So they're going for a social platform route. This is what you have to understand. If you're looking at Pump Fund, you're not looking at a token, for example. You're not looking at a meme coin. What you're looking at is a platform which aims to become the next Facebook. Now, we have to remember that Pump Fund is arguably the best tech to come out of crypto. Bar Bitcoin, probably Ethereum, and Solana. After those, it's probably Pump Fund. It's the fastest company to reach $1 billion, right, in just under a year. So it's legit a unicorn company. They have also been the most used product that I've ever seen. Right? I haven't seen anybody use tech in crypto as much as anybody has ever used Pump Fund. Like, think about it. You know, what have you used on AVAX? Nothing. What have you used on Sui? Nothing. What else have you used on Solana? Nothing. Last cycle, did you play any games? No. No one played games. We all invested into these coins, right? Everybody used Pump Fund. So it's very impressive. Love them or hate them, this is arguably the best tech to come out of crypto. It's onboarded loads of people, made some people loads of money, completely shook up the entire industry. So this is a massive event, okay? And it's important to know that they're not going to try and become the biggest meme coin platform. What they're trying to do is tokenize social media. They're going to allow you to actually invest and turn tweets into assets, right? Very interesting approach that they've decided to go. I'd actually be interested to actually listen to like the founders speak about this in person, like on podcasts and stuff like that. I'd be interested to see their philosophy. And it says here, since January 2024, Pump Fund sought to be a household name. Pump quickly became the fastest growing company in history. But that was just the beginning. We're building Pump Fund to replace all social media, unlocking the power of growth. Now, this is the important part. It says here, Pump Fund will have a maximum supply of 1 billion tokens and will be distributed as follows. 33% will be sold into the initial coin offering. You can see it right here. This is the supply that's going to be on the market, okay? This little supply over here. You've got 13% to existing investors, very important, right? We don't know the distribution for this. We don't know if there's a vesting period for these types of things as well. You've got team tokens at 20%. It's actually quite large, but I think what people misunderstood is that they actually said that they're going to be expanding their team. So many people think that this is like the original Pump Fund team, when it's actually not. Also 1 trillion tokens as well. Not 1 billion, it's 1 trillion. And it says here, many people think that the team tokens are the same team. But we'll get onto what Elon said later. And they actually said that they're going to be expanding the team, which makes sense, right? If you look at the team of Facebook, if you look at the team of fucking Amazon, if you look at the team of any major company, especially any major tech company, they have a massive team. And if these are going to aim to, democratize social media and do all these things that they say they're going to do, then they're going to have to grow their team. They're going to have to spend a lot of money on their team, right? So this kind of makes sense, right? Next, you have community and ecosystem initiatives. This is also going to be interesting as well. I want to know what they plan on doing with that. Live streaming 3%. This is where a lot of people have been, getting crazy about this, saying, oh, live streamers are going to make crazy amounts of money. Guys, we're talking about Pump Fund and Elon here, right? They're not just going to give you $1 million, right? they're gonna make you work for your bikes. They're gonna draw it out. I don't think it's gonna be a, straight away, here's loads of money for getting 100 viewers on a stream, which anybody can do. I think they're actually gonna make you work on it, which is important. It's actually important. Like, if they want to make streamers put an effort onto stream, and if they want to draw good streamers, right, they actually need to incentivize it. I'm like, it's the carrot and stick approach. You need to put a big carrot in front of you and say, yo, put in work, you'll get there. Ecosystem fund 2.4%, foundation 2%, and liquidity exchanges. Foundation is interesting. Maybe they're actually going to reinvest into some of the bigger projects out there. Maybe they're going to start actually investing into Fartcoin, etc., these types of other tokens. Now, it also says over here the platforms that they're going to be launching on. So if you want to get involved in the initial coin offering, it's best to have a look at these specific exchanges. Okay, you can find it on KuCoin, Kraken, BitGet, Bybit, Gate.io, and Mexi. You'll actually find a link for Mexi in the description of this video. If you go underneath this video, right here, you'll find an affiliate link for Mexi right here. It is actually the best place to short meme coins that run, which is actually ironic, guys, because when we talk about our plan, and we talk about how we're actually going to approach this, right, you have to remember, I don't know where the pump fund launch is going, but I'm planning on something very, very interesting, okay? And you're going to have a Mexi account to do this. Why? Because Mexi is going to give you the largest leverage. There's no other platform that's going to give you massive leverage, right? The only massive leverage you're going to get is on Mexi, okay? Mexi has the best leverage possible. In my opinion, this is going to be a mass extraction event. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news for you guys, but what most people do, 9 times out of 10, whenever there's a big event, a big news story, maybe it's a big token event, maybe it's an all-time high, people naturally, for human nature, are just excited to be a part of it. Then there's a small group of people who are actually focused on what they're here to do, which is make money. No emotions, no excitement. It's just another event where they can actually go ahead and make money, okay? So you have to make the decision today. Are you somebody who is here to just be a part of the event, or are you somebody who is here to make money? Because if you're here to make money, you need to specifically plan on exactly what you're going to do. And in my opinion, we'll get into the tokenomics and the valuation. I think Pump Fund right now is being overvalued. Similar to any meme coin launch, similar to a tech company, when a tech company launches. When you have an idea, it's often more valued than the tech. Pump Fund is valuing themselves based on their previous performance, but ever since their inception, they've done nothing but lose market share. If we look at Pump Fund since the announcement of Trump, they have done nothing but lose market share. Volume has gone down, new creations have gone down. It is basically a small group of people who are left from the battlefield, bloody and scarred, fighting each other. It's like a bunch of Spartans right now on new creation. There is not much new, fresh meat in the trenches right now. So they're valuing themselves back on the old days. I personally think it's overvalued, okay? Now, I do think there'll be a time to buy the dip, but I'm preparing myself to be ready to short, okay? That's my bet. I'm betting on this thing, $4 billion valuation. Yeah, they've made $1 billion, but it's gonna take them time to build the foundations. I understand how long it takes to build a business. I understand that, when you're working with investors, you're going to be making them the promises and these plans and this type of stuff here, but they also understand that it takes time for it to play out. Let's have a look what other people's thoughts are. So there are other people out here who also think a similar thing. In fact, Elon himself, right, the founder of Solana, actually says, only upsell to pre-sales or they allow you to pocket raised capital. Conclusion, every pre-sale is a scam. And he said this on the 31st of March. Now, obviously, he has a bias to this type of thing because he was in this this scene. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on my camera, but you'll be able to see it right here, right? Only conclusion to pre-sales that allow you to pocket raise capital. Yes, right? You have to remember, guys, that I'm not some random guy that's just been trading meme coins, guys. I have also invested millions of dollars into private sales. I've invested in over 100 startups. I have seen endless amounts of ICOs and IDOs of some of the biggest companies out there. In fact, some of the biggest coins are still on the market right now as a part of the ICO, an IDO, right? I could tell you, every single time these tokens drop, they don't do well. They all come down at the gate. The hype is up here and the execution is always down here. It's always how it's good. Look at Pengu, for example, right? Now, we'll get on to another opinion. This opinion is a little bit one-sided, okay? I'm net neutral. Like I said, guys, I'm just here to make money. I've got plenty of experience. I've invested in over 100 startups, right? I've seen endless amounts of ideas, and I've traded meme coins 12 hours a day for the past 6 months. I've got over 1,000 hours of meme coin trading, right? So we can see here, let's take Unipix's opinion for it. Remember, this one's slightly biased. He says this, and I'll give you the TLDR because this is a long paragraph, right? But he basically said this, look, I'll make it clear, I like Bonk Fun. I'm undoubtedly the biggest voice advocating for it on X. If you don't know, Unipix is a multi-7-figure trader. In fact, multi-8-figure trader. In fact, he made $30 million on Bonk on a 6x leverage trade, right? He also made about $82,000 on another trade over here. And I think he made like a couple $1 million on a fart coin long as well, right? This guy makes bank and he's very, very experienced trader. And what he basically says here is similar thing. He thinks Elon's a genius. He respects him for his decisions. Love him or hate him, the man has single-handedly distributed the space. And he said, no, actually, he single-handedly distributed the entire crypto space. I know many people don't like him because of his massive soul cells. I actually didn't mention this, guys, but Pump Fund have just been dumping Solana on your head. If you've been wondering why Solana is not, at $1,000 or above $300, etc., it's because when you look at Pump Fund and when you look at all the trading terminals and when you look at every business built on Solana, they are for-profit businesses, meaning they take the Solana from your fees and then they sell those Solana to stable coins, meaning you are literally being extracted, right? Imagine this. We're playing a game. It's like playing poker. If you guys have ever played poker right now, right? Meme coins right now is like playing poker on a table with high rake because the casino is selling so much Solana that you have to make a shit ton to survive how far down Solana is going to go. Because when you're playing a game, i.e. meme coins, and you're playing this game to gain more Solana, you're playing it in Solana, but all the platforms are selling that Solana, there is not much of a point to pump that Solana. Meaning your soul bags are going down in value and you're fighting to make more soul. So if you don't make money every single month and Solana's going down 10%, 15%, 20%, you're actually fighting a losing battle. If you was playing this game logically, you wouldn't play it. But because this is something which obviously the meme coins have unlimited upside, you have no choice to play it, right? And that's basically what he's saying. He's basically saying that, look, Bonk reinvests into the ecosystem. Pump Fund doesn't. And if anything, Pump Fund's just going to have the incentive to pump their own token. They have no incentive to pump Solana, right? And this is the difference because if you look at Bonk reinvests into their actual project and Pump Fund doesn't. And it says yes. I mean, yes. A lot of big VCs who shove 7 and 8 figures into the Pump private sale at 4 billion valuation will make bank 2 to 3x on size. You understand this, guys, right? I always say this. If you're coming into this game to chase a 2, 3x, your exit liquidity. Meme coins are supposed to be about making their 10, 50, and 100x or more. They're not about making 2, 3, or 4x. Okay? The only time you ever chase a 2, 3, or 4x is when you're incredibly rich. When you have a couple million, you're happy with a 2, 3x. If you're jumping into the Pump Fund launch, guys, and you're putting 50 bucks in to go, hurrah, and be a part of the journey, right? You're here for the vibes. You're not here to make bread. That is my mindset towards this thing, okay? I would rather risk on the opposite side where I get higher reward with a lower risk than risk on this thing blasting off to 400 billion, 40 billion. It's unlikely to happen, right? Because if you've put in $5 million into private sale or Pump Fund and your bags go up exponentially, I tell you what niggas are doing, they're one click in. So you've got tens of thousands of people putting in 10, 20, 50, 40, 50 bucks and you're getting one click buy done who's up 50M. It's silly in my eyes. But again, it's because of human nature and some people are still going to do it, but that's why they call it the exit liquidity, okay? So I said, it's genuinely hard to see how retail in the trenches win in this scenario. Not going to lie, exactly. And I honestly believe the best way is for Bonk Fund to win and continue leading with clear dominance. I agree, especially because Bonk Fund is aligned with the trenches in Solana Eco outside. 58% of the fees go back into burning Bonk, 15% go to Sol that gets staked to secure the network, and creators get rewarded for building on the platform. So yes, Pump Fund has innovated the entire category. They earned nearly $1 billion in just 1.5 years. They've done their job, right? Long story short, they've done their job. They got paid for it. This is their ICO, which is basically a company's IPO. This is their big moment to finally leave the trenches. They pass it on to some shareholders and they say, look, guys, we're going to be the Facebook of whatever. And they leave it at that. Okay? Brilliant for them, but I don't think it's brilliant for the trenches either, right? I actually agree with probably about 80% of what he says as well, okay? And his opinion's obviously major bias because he's part of the Bonk team, but I also side with Bonk. I do think that any company, whether that's Bonk, whether that's Jupiter, whether that's Meteora, any company, even Candle, that supports the trenches deserves to be supported by the trenches, okay? Now, there's a few other people who have similar opinions, but let's focus on how we're actually going to make money from this situation. Now, I mentioned one possible scenario. There is a scenario where you can short this, okay? And I'll get into shorting it in a moment, okay? Now, there's also a scenario where you can actually look at providing liquidity. Now, this is Tux.Sol, and he is a member of Meteora. These are the guys that helped launch Trump. If you look at Meteora, they do official launches for major tokens. And when the launch of Trump happened, you could have done two things, okay? You could have gone, hey, how put 50 bucks in and be a part of the army and be like, hooray, right? You could have been buying up 20 billion, 30 billion, been exit liquidity, or you could have provided liquidity and made money off the fees. And that's what a lot of people did. They either got in early, like people like myself on YouTube or live stream, or even if there was a little bit later, they actually looked at providing liquidity, okay? Now, there's two options you can provide liquidity for. He actually mentioned one way that I'm going to be positioning myself is pre-ICO positioning. As with any major liquidity event, it's reasonable to expect massive capital rotation into the new token. I don't think it's going to be that case. I think anybody who's rotating to this thing is stupid. And I'll explain to you why they're stupid. Because when Trump happened, Trump was undervalued because nobody knew that Trump was going to launch a token. There was only a very few people that actually knew about it, probably Meteora and some people that went and met up with Trump at some dinner parties or some shit. Nobody else knew that it was real. And I can tell you that for a fact because I was trading it at $300 million market cap live. All we seen was major wallets buying and some tweets. So it was undervalued because it wasn't listed on all exchanges at once. It wasn't pre-planned. They didn't have a pre-valuation. They didn't raise private capital. So that's the reason why everybody rotated into it, because they was like, oh shit, this is a major wealth transfer opportunity. I have to put as much as I possibly can into this, okay, to fight my bags going down. Whereas when we look at Pump Fund is an ICO, guys. It's something where it's already planned. It's already on every exchange. People already understand the tokenomics. They know exactly what they're getting into. And when you know exactly what you want and you're looking forward to it, it's often that you get disappointed, okay? I often think people are going to be very disappointed with this launch. I think they're going to foot it more than anything. That's the biggest difference, okay? I don't think this is going to be a major liquidity event. He says, I personally plan on closing all of my standard meme Sol liquidity pools. This is where you put meme coin in and you match it with Solana to make money off the fees. And he says, by Friday evening to avoid being caught off guard. That's a very, very good point. Especially with the risk of getting outranged to the downside and sitting on heavier IL over the weekend. Remember, meme coins jumped off the Trump launch. Again, I don't think it's going to be like that. Okay? I actually think it's already priced in. Now it says, the ICO itself, okay, at this point, I'm still undecided whether I'll participate or not into the ICO. There are a few questions that I need to think through. Why raise funds now when Elon is sitting on a mountain of protocol revenue in literally USDC, not Solana? Even Elon himself once said every pre-sale is a scam. With their market share slipping against Bonk Fund in recent weeks, could it be the final chapter of the exit plan? The actual token launch is expected to happen around 48 hours after the ICO ends, likely Monday. I'll be watching to see the launch carefully. It may present an attractive Meteor DLM opportunity, okay? Just like Trump. So, option number 2, you can possibly short it, but you can possibly provide LP. Now, I do think that the LP for this thing is going to be absolutely insane, okay? I think the LP for Pump Fund is going to be ridiculous. Okay, I think it's going to give it an insane opportunity because of the amount of volume and transactions on this. To summarize, they're mainly the two options, right? I think you can either short it, okay? And I do think there's going to be some options to provide liquidity, okay? Now, in terms of the overall market, I also think there's going to be some massive opportunities for the overall market in itself, okay? Now, if we have a look over here and we look at Solana, you can see that Solana is actually calling up for what I think is going to be a move to about $180 to $200 per Solana. The launch of this token, remember, is being Monday. I think by this date, you're going to see Solana candling up and calling up for this thing. I think it's a buy the rumor or buy the hype, sell the news scenario, okay, in my personal opinion. So I've put a major long on Solana, okay? I've put a 180 Solana, about $30,000 on 10x leverage. It's about 300K trade on Solana itself. I do think that this thing's going to coil up. I do think it's going to run up until the launch. When we get closer to the launch date, okay, maybe just before the ICO, actually when they raise money, I'm going to be selling that Solana as well, okay? That's basically my goal for this. I'm also going to be looking at Bonk as well, because remember, Bonk's the only position where you can actually like invest into this launch pad as well. Moonshot doesn't have a token. Obviously, Jupe has Jupiter. Launch has Launch Coin. Bonk has Bonk Coin because they buy it back with the revenue, okay? Now, if you do want to keep up to date with anything I plan on doing, I recommend heading over to the link inside the description. It's about 3 or 4 links down. You'll see a link. It's called The Trenches. There is only 3 days left to claim a 7-day free trial for The Trenches. I'll be releasing exactly what I do. I'll be posting exactly at the right time. Everybody inside The Trenches to see what I'm up to. Now again, guys, look, I understand this is a big moment. I understand there's a lot of excitement. I know there's going to be two sides of people. Some people are going to be like, yeah, this is going to go to the moon. Let me tell you something, guys. These platforms do not care about you. Facebook does not care about you. Amazon does not care about you. Social media platforms like TikTok, they do not care about you, right? You are a number in the system. You have to care about yourself and you have to look at how you can profit out of this scenario, okay? It's very important to be, to plan, and if it fails, it fails. If Pump Fund goes up, guess what? Who cares? The trenches are going to continue going up. If Pump Fund goes down, guess what? Who cares? The trenches is going to go down with this thing, okay? Share this video with your friends or subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel.